Every time you pick up your smartphone, you are holding one of the most complex pieces of engineering ever created. It feels solid, cold, and static in your hand. But if you could shrink yourself down, smaller than a single grain of dust, and dive beneath the glass, you would discover a terrifyingly busy world. You wouldn't see circuits and wires, you would see a massive, multi-layered metropolis that never sleeps, working at speeds that challenge the laws of physics. At the absolute center of this digital city is the heart, the society, or system on a chip. We're living in the era of 3 nanometer technology. To understand this scale, imagine a single strand of your hair. Now, imagine trying to carve 20,000 separate, perfectly straight highways across the width of that one hair. That is the level of precision we are talking about. At 3 nanometers, engineers are not just manufacturing components, they are moving individual atoms into perfect alignment to create microscopic switches called transistors. Billions of these switches are packed into a space smaller than your fingernail, and they flip on and off billions of times every single second just to process a single swipe on your screen. Inside this nano metropolis, the work is divided among elite teams. The CPU is the main command center, and it follows a philosophy of lean manufacturing. It's divided into high-performance cores and efficiency cores. The performance cores are the muscle. They roar to life only when you do something heavy, like launching a high-fidelity 3D game. The efficiency cores are the silent caretakers. They handle 90% of your daily tasks, like waiting for a text message or checking the time, using almost zero power to ensure your phone doesn't die by lunchtime. But the most fascinating district in this city is the NPU, or Neural Processing Unit. This isn't a normal computer processor. It is hardwired to mimic the neural networks of the human brain. The NPU doesn't just calculate math, it is a master of pattern recognition. When you use Face Unlock, the NPU doesn't just see a picture of you, it scans thousands of invisible mathematical points on your face in pitch darkness and recognizes the unique pattern of you in milliseconds. When you point the camera at a flower, the NPU scans its massive internal library of patterns to identify that it is a rose or a tulip, optimizing the settings instantly. It performs trillions of operations per second, a feat that would have required a room full of computers just a decade ago, all happening silently beneath the surface to make your experience feel effortless.
Now that we've explored the digital city inside the chip, let's talk about the window you use to view that world, the screen. You might think it's just a simple piece of glass, but it is actually a vast living field of 8 million individual organic light bulbs. We call this an OLED display. In older technology, like the TV you grew up with, there was a big light panel in the back that stayed on all the time, which is why blacks often looked dark gray. But in your smartphone, every single pixel is its own master. When the image requires the color black, that specific pixel doesn't just dim, it literally dies for a moment. It turns off completely. This creates a perfect contrast and saves a massive amount of energy, allowing the colors to pop with a vibrancy that mimics real life. But there is a hidden intelligence managing this screen called LTPO technology. Think of it as a smart conductor for an orchestra. If you were just reading a static article or looking at a photo, the LTPO tells the screen to slow down and refresh only once every second. But the millisecond your finger touches the glass to scroll, the system cranks the speed up to 120 times per second. This constant invisible shifting between speeds is what makes the phone feel as smooth as silk while ensuring your battery survives until the end of the day. Now, let's flip the phone over to the most magical part, the camera. Modern smartphone lenses are tiny, which means they physically cannot catch much light. To overcome the laws of physics, engineers invented pixel binning. Imagine millions of tiny buckets trying to catch rain during a storm. In a dark room, the buckets are too small to fill up, so the phone tells 4 or 9 neighboring buckets to merge into one giant superpixel. Suddenly, they have a large enough surface area to catch the light needed to see in the dark. But the real work happens after the light is caught. This is where computational photography takes over. In the fraction of a second it takes you to blink, the image signal processor, or ISP, doesn't just take one photo. It captures a burst of 10 to 15 different images at various exposure levels. It then uses complex mathematical algorithms to stack these images on top of each other. It looks for the sharpest details in one frame and the best colors in another, merging them to eliminate noise and sharpen the edges. You aren't just clicking a shutter, you are watching a high-speed computer paint a perfect masterpiece using billions of calculations in real time. It is a fusion of optics and math working together to make sure your memories look even better than reality.
We have explored the digital city and the vibrant screen, but how does this device talk to the rest of the world? Inside the metal frame of your phone, there are tiny, precisely etched paths that act as antennas. This is the front line of the 5G revolution. These high-speed signals are incredibly powerful, capable of downloading a movie in seconds, but they are also extremely fragile. Even the humidity in the air or the way you hold your phone can block them. To solve this, your phone uses a sophisticated technology called beamforming. Instead of broadcasting a signal in every direction like a light bulb, the antennas work in perfect synchronization to focus the radio waves into a tight, invisible beam, like a laser, aimed directly at the nearest cell tower. As you move, the phone's brain recalculates the angle thousands of times per second to keep that beam locked on. It is a high-speed, invisible bridge that ensures your world stays connected without interruption. However, running billions of transistors and high-speed antennas creates a massive byproduct: heat. In a device this thin, there is no room for a fan. If the heat isn't managed, the chips will melt. To prevent this disaster, engineers hid in a vapor chamber inside. Imagine a flat, vacuum-sealed copper plate with a tiny drop of liquid inside. When the processor gets hot, that liquid boils and turns into steam instantly. The steam rushes to the cooler edges of the phone, releases the thermal energy, turns back into liquid, and flows back to the center to start the cycle again. It is a never-ending cycle of internal rain inside a metal plate, working silently to keep your phone cool and fast even under heavy pressure. Finally, none of this would be possible without the heart, the lithium-cobalt battery. This isn't just a battery, it is a highly concentrated tank of chemical energy. To charge this heart at lightning speeds without it becoming a furnace, the phone actually splits the battery into two separate cells and charges them both at the same time. It's like filling two tanks with two separate hoses to reduce the overall pressure. A dedicated safety chip monitors the pulse of the electricity and the temperature thousands of times per second. This ensures that the massive flow of power remains stable and safe in your pocket. From the 3-nanometer city to the internal rain and the twin-cell heart, your smartphone is more than just a tool. It is a living masterpiece of human ingenuity, working tirelessly every single second to put the entire world in the palm of your hand. Now that we have stripped away the glass and the metal, what are we left with? It is easy to look at a smartphone as just a communication tool, a distraction, or a camera. But as we've seen over these 3 episodes, it is so much more. You are carrying a miracle of human ambition. Within that slim frame, we have managed to compress the entire progress of our civilization. Think about it. Beneath your thumb is a nano-city with 3-nanometer highways where billions of switches flick at the speed of thought. You are looking at a screen made of living organic lights that can turn into perfect darkness in an instant. Your camera is not just a lens, but a mathematical eye that defies the laws of physics to see in the dark. You are connected to the world by invisible laser beams of data, and your device is kept cool by a cycle of internal rain inside a copper plate. None of this was possible just 20 years ago. We've turned what used to be science fiction into a quiet, reliable reality that we now take for granted. This device is the ultimate integration of chemistry, physics, and mathematics, all working in perfect harmony to serve your needs. So, the next time you feel the cool glass of your phone, remember,
you aren't just holding a gadget. You are holding the summit of human ingenuity, a masterpiece that puts the entire world and the collective knowledge of mankind right in the palm of your hand.